Krishna, Prabhujis and Matajis, and Pranam. Today is a very auspicious occasion of is it? This is appearance day of Sri Advaita Acharya. So uh, we all know that the reason why we have appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to do with the deep, um, very compassionate prayers of Sri Advaita Acharya, who was very compassionate for all the other fallen souls and for the falling situation of bhakti at that time. So therefore, in order to um, get Lord to shower His mercy, Lord, so Advaita Acharya very deeply prayed for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. And with those humble prayers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually was so merciful that he appeared and he delivered so many fallen souls. We are here today in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara is also because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and our Yuga Dharma of Harinam Sankirtan was propagated and established by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the sole reason why Advaita Acharya prayed, and therefore my prayer today is Sachitanaya Ashtakam, which is basically glorification of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I'm sure by singing this, Advaita Acharya would be very, very pleased today. And this prayer is a very, very beautiful prayer and it's very sweet and written by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. I personally love it, but it's very, I hardly get any chance to sing it anywhere. So today I take this opportunity to present this prayer to you all. So I'm also sharing the lyrics at your own place while you are muted also. Please sing along with me and you will get all the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Advaita Acharya. So let's begin. So this is Sachi Tanayashtakam. Ujjvala Gauravardeham Vilasita Niravadhi Bhavavideham Tribhuvana Pavana Kripayalesham Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam Gadgadantara Bhavavikaram Durjana Tarjana Nadavishalam Bhavabhayabhanjana Karanakaronam Tam Pranamami Cha Shri Sachitanayam अरुणाम्बरधर चारुकपोलम् इन्दुविनिन्दित नखचयरुचिरम् जल्पितनिजगुण नाम विनोदम् तं प्रणमामि च श्रीशचितनयम् विगलितनयना कमलजलधारम् भूषणनवरस भावविकारम् गति अतिमन्थर नृत्यविलासम् तं प्रणमामि च श्रीशचितनयम् चञ्चलचारु चरणगतिरुचिरं मञ्जिररञ्जित पदयुगमधुरं चन्द्रविनिन्दिता शीतलवदनं तं प्रणमामि च श्रीशचितनयं धृतकटिडोरा कमण्डलुदण्डा दिव्यकलेवरा मुण्डितमुण्डं दुर्जनकल्मष खण्डनदण्डं तं प्रणमामि च श्रीशचितनयं भूषणभूरज अलकावलितं कम्पितबिम्बा धरवररुचिरं मलयज विरचित उज्ज्वलतिलकं तं प्रणमामि च श्रीशचितनयं निन्दितारुणा कमलदलनयनम् आजानुलम्बित श्रीभुजयुगलं कलेवरकैशोरा नर्तकवेषं तं प्रणमामि च श्रीशचितनयं हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा हरे रामा राम रामा हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा हरे रामा राम रामा हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. Let's go through the translation so then we can actually reciprocate with Sri Advaita Acharya's feelings also. Since it's a beautiful prayer, we need to know what exactly it means. So, translation says, I prostrate myself before the son of Mother Shachi, whose radiant lotus face and body shine with the splendor of molten gold. This transcendental body is the playground for the continuous expression of variegated moods and ecstatic symptoms that carry his consciousness to the realm where he is no longer aware of the transcendental body. By only a practice of his mercy, he has delivered the three worlds. I salute the son of Mother Shachi, whose heart is in a state of rapture, transformed by feelings of intense love. In his pastime of loud roaring before the mischievous and malicious rascals, he removes all fear of the vast ocean of material existence by the effect of his unlimited compassion. He is wearing garments the color of the eastern sky during the dawn, and his lovely cheeks shine with the same radiance. The nails of his hands and feet have the same pleasing effect of the moon shining in the sky. His pleasure, diversion consists in discussions and glorification of his own wonderful qualities and names. I offer my obeisances to the son of Mother Shachi. His lotus eyes are always wet with tears. His ornaments are the new and ever fresh transformations of ecstatic love with that decorate his transcendental form. His gait is slow and majestic, yet his dancing is a wonderful pastime of enjoyment. I bow down before the son of Mother Shachi. The movement of his lovely yet restless lotus feet captivates the mind, and his ankle bracelets sweeten that charming scene all the more. His face, which defeats the beauty of the moon, is very cooling and pleasant. I offer my salutations to the son of Mother Shachi. He wears a cord around his waist and carries in his hands a water pot and staff. His divine appearance is complemented by his shaved head. The sins of the wicked are annulled by the rod of chastisement that he carries. I salute the son of Mother Shachi. His ornaments are the dust on his body and his radiant tilak prepared with sandalwood. The beautiful sight of his trembling reddish lips brings delight to the mind and heart. I offer my obeisances to the son of Mother Shachi. His lotus eyes defeat the color of pink lotuses. His two lotus hands are very long, reaching down almost to his knees. He appears to be a mere adolescent, dressed as he is, ready to dance. I prostrate myself before the son of Mother Shachi. So these are the wonderful prayers written by Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. And yeah, so we proceed into the prayers where we ask for permission from Guru Parampara. Before we start any of our spiritual uh, spiritual discourse, I'm in no way qualified actually to speak on such elevated topics, transcendental topics, because with so many contaminations in the heart, but still I seek mercy from the Guru Parampara, and whatever good that you feel has come out of this session today, because it's a wonderful pastime of uh, Lord Ramachandra. So whatever good you find in this talk today is all the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and all the exalted acharyas who have come in this parapara, who have given us this knowledge. Srila Prabhupada, who has empowered us with the knowledge he is transmitted through his purports. First of all, he has enabled us to speak on such subject matters which were earlier spoken only by great exalted Vaishnavas, and we are nobody, but still we are getting an opportunity to speak the Srimad Bhagavatam for our own purification and to share this wonderful knowledge with you all and fulfill Lord Chaitanya's desire of spreading Krishna consciousness to all the corners of the world. So let's start. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपीशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिनी नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रये नमो विष्णुपादाय नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नाम नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमाप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्या नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः नमो ब्राह्मण्यदेवाय गोब्राह्मणाहिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम् So Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. That means the Supreme Personality of Godhead has the form of Sachidananda Vigraha, transcendental bliss, knowledge, and eternity. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him who turns the dumb into eloquent speakers and enables the lame to cross mountains. Such is the mercy of the Lord. And I seek that divine mercy today as a dumb-headed, dull-headed me is trying to speak some words in glory of Lord Ramachandra. And to invoke the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we'll also recite the Shikshashtakam prayers. चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मास्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम् नाम्नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्रार्पित नियमित स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशं इहाजनि नानुरागः तृणादपि शुनिचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरि न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतात् भक्तिरहेतुकी त्वयि अयि नन्दतनुज किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तया नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदरुत्थया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपुः कदा तव नाम गृहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे आश्लिष्य वा पादरतां पिनस्तु माम् अदर्शनं मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु सैव नापरा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji. Thank you for joining on this Sunday morning after having a hectic day yesterday at IVCC grounds. So, Hare Krishna, Shilpa Mataji, Hare Krishna, Kamya Mataji, Hare Krishna, Madhvi Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna, Muralidhar Prabhu,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna, Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna, Ram Chiranjeevi Prabhu, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Subbarao Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam.
Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
So now, inka duketam, Rankalloki, we will now get into the topic.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Padma Mataji. Yes. One second, I'll share my screen. So we are starting the 11th chapter of the 9th canto today, and the title of the chapter is Lord Ramachandra Rules the World. So this is now the concluding pastimes of Lord Ramachandra actually after the entire the Ramayana, the killing of Ravana, which was done like last week we have seen. After which this is the concluding chapter, and we'll start here. Text 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Bhagavan Atmanatmanam Rama Uttama Kalpakai Sarvadevamayam Devam Ijetacharya Vanmakai. Anybody to read translation?
I'll do Mataji.
Yes,
Hare
please.
Krishna. Translations and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: Sukdev Goswami said, thereafter the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, accepted an acharya and performed sacrifices, yagnas, with opulent paraphernalia. Thus he himself worshipped himself, for he is the supreme of all demigods.
Thank you.
Purport?
No, but I will.
Okay.
Yeah, do in a while. So here we are seeing in the translation, it says, Lord Ramachandra accepted an acharya and performed sacrifices, yajnas, with opulent paraphernalia. And he himself worshipped himself, for he is the supreme lord of all the demigods. So when we are seeing, it reminds us of multiple things, because if we remember, when we went to Ayodhya, most of us were there at that time in the Ayodhya Yatra, with wonderful lectures starting in the morning of Shubh-Vilas Prabhu. And he mentioned that actually Bhagavad Gita is like a rule book. So it is giving us, like it's like the IPC for scriptures. Okay, so IPC is like the Indian Penal Code. Like it's something like a law book. Now, what does Bhagavad Gita do is actually it establishes all the laws, and all the Puranas and Itihasas, they are basically pictorial demonstration of how these laws are actually being applied in real life, in the practical scenario, and how we can learn from them. So sometimes when you just read the law, you won't understand what's happening. So in Bhagavad Gita, actually, if we see in Bhagavad Gita, there is this there is this shloka, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, which is 21st. So, what does it say? Yat yat acharati shreshthas tattat evetaro jana sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. So whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So Lord Ramachandra, when he appeared, basically he appeared in the human form. So he did not declare himself to be God. And the reason why he incarnated or appeared also, we know that Bhagavad Gita gives the law again for that. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So what is Lord saying? Paritranaya sadhunam. So to elevate the pious, vinashaya cha dushkrutam. So which means that to annihilate the miscreants. And dharma samsthapanarthaya. So whenever he has to establish religion, these are the three purposes. And we see that all the three are demonstrated in the whole episode of Ramayana. Like in that whole 24,000 shlokas of Ramayana actually covers all this only. Like when he's talking about elevating the pious, how he helped Vishwamitra with in establishing in fact the Yuga Dharma for Treta Yuga is also Yagya. That also we see. In fact, when we are reading the whole all the kandas of what is this the first one, Balakanda, if we actually see, we think that it is childhood pastimes of the Lord, but actually in the Balakanda it's all about how Lord actually assisted Vishwamitra Muni in annihilating all the demoniac who were actually creating a lot of trouble for the sacrifices which Vishwamitra and the different sages who were performing in the forest. So these demoniac personalities always would come and actually trouble them. All the bad material like blood and everything like flesh were thrown into the Yagya Kundas and everything. So he is assisting Vishwamitra Muni in taking care of all those demons and establishing the Yuga Dharma again, which is Yagya. But while he's doing that, we'll also see in every chapter, like which is called actually Sarga. Is it Sarga? Yeah, I think it is Sarga. Yeah, every chapter which keeps going on in this particular kanda, you will see it always will start and even I was surprised when I was hearing this that it always starts that Lord gets up every day morning, like Suryodayam has happened, the sunrise has happened, Lord is getting up and he's performing his Nitya Karmas in the morning. Right, so he is offering oblations to the Surya Bhagavan, and he is doing his Nitya Karmas. He is doing his morning practices, the sacrifices. It's called like the Agni sacrifice or something like that. The basic Yuga Dharma, which was there for Treta Yuga, is actually Yagya. So the sacrifices were performed by the Lord himself every day morning, and every chapter will start saying that Lord gets up in the morning, it is sunrise, and this is how Lord is starting his day. And at the end of the day also, Lord performs his evening Nitya Karmas and then concludes the day and then sleeps. And again, next chapter starts with morning has happened. So what is Lord trying to do? Through Ramayana, the complicated Vedas and Vedic instructions, if normal people are not able to understand, normal praja, it's because he has come as a human, and also he's come as a in the Kshatriya Kshatriya Varna, right? And he is supposed to establish this like Yad Yad Acharati Shreshthas, right? So even our Shubhilas Prabhu, he was saying that Bhagavad Gita, while it is the law book, then Ramayana is something like Bhagavad Gita in practice. It is actually like complete. If you want to like Rama is actually a walking Veda, and he's come to establish that dharma. So why is very important for varnashrama dharma, if we have to understand, is that when the soul comes into the material world with all the material desires, okay, so even as part of yoga ladder, we'll see that when we indiscriminately get into fulfilling our material desires without following any kind of rules or regulations, then that is called a karmi. A karmi is basically a materialist who is wanting to fulfill his material desires, but not really following any regulations. So whatever I like, I do. Whatever I don't like, I don't do. So that is a karmi. And that is nothing but an animalistic propensity. So even in SSR, we start with the animalistic propensities when we talk about eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That is what animals also do. That is what also humans do in the materialist form. But what will differentiate a human from an animal? Lord has given us an intelligence for some purpose. There is a reason why he has given us that intelligence, right? So actually, Lord has given us intelligence to discriminate ourselves from the animals, to to help us realize by ourselves, our own realizations, that no, we are not meant for eating, sleeping, mating, defending. We are meant for some larger purpose. And what is that purpose? That is when this in the human form, when a karmi is continuously doing this, it's not without any implications, not without any consequences, right? When we are doing this indiscriminately, the consequence is obviously suffering, suffering, and more suffering. So when more and more suffering happens, the human will start thinking, why is this happening? All I am doing is actually fulfilling my desires. But when I fulfill my desire, first of all, I have the desire thinking that fulfillment of this desire will make me happy. But instead of making me happy, why is it giving me suffering? And even if it makes me happy, it is making me temporarily happy for a short time. Small little satisfaction comes, followed by long-term suffering. So like for instance, you eat whatever you want, you drink whatever you want. It will obviously affect the organs of the body, right? Because it is in the mode of passion and ignorance. So there is something which is creating an imbalance in the body. So automatically that will have implications in the form of diseases, in the form of suffering, in the form of hospital bills. There are so many things which come, right? So then we apply our human intelligence. After suffering for some few lifetimes, maybe millions of lifetimes, then we come to the conclusion that no, Lord has given us an intelligence for some purpose. Then who am I? Why did I even take birth in this place? What is my purpose? Who am I? Who is God? What is this material nature? And these kind of questions. So that is when that is called self-realization. And in the self-realization process, which means that this transformation from animalistic tendency to human tendency, to a human civilized form of life, that is basically the karma kanda. So karma kanda are the rituals which are prescribed by the Vedic injunctions. So then basically the human starts referring to the Vedas and decides that yes, I still have material desire. What to do? I still have material desires. I want them to be fulfilled. But after getting all this buddhi from all the suffering, let me do it in a way that is congenial, that is prescribed by the Lord himself. Lord has sent the Vedas. Let, let, so let me follow those Vedic regulations. And if I want to fulfill my desire, I will offer sacrifices to the particular devata as prescribed by the Vedic injunctions. And in that process, once I follow this Vedic injunctions, then automatically, so that means that a person is coming to the human civilized form of living, because Vedic injunctions will tell you what you can do. It also tells you what you can't do. It comes with lot of austerity. It comes with lot of tapasya and lot of determination. Great. You need to have lot of sense control to follow those injunctions. If it says that you have to fast, you have to provide this ingredients for this particular sacrifice, for 1 year you have to sleep on the floor. Let's say, I'm just giving an example. So then a person actually does that to be able to complete that vrata. We have seen in Punsavana Vrata, we have seen in Payo Vrata. What are all these? These are basically Vedic injunctions which are telling you have a desire to fulfill. You want a child. Then you follow this particular Vrata and you will get a child as you desired. That was in the previous cantos, we had actually seen that example. So that is how a person comes to a regulated way of life by following Vedic injunctions. And then he is called a human. So for the basic requirement for human is actually Varna Ashrama Dharma. Varna means based on, again, Krishna only says in Bhagavad Gita, again the law book is coming. It says Guna Karma Vibhagasha. So based on one's guna, which are qualities, and based on activities, karma. Then, so which means it's like an aptitude test, like how we take psychometric test to understand what career is best for us. Guna Karma Vibhagasha is Lord's psychometric test for us. Based on our aptitude and our activities, he is giving us a certain classification. Okay, you are this Varna, and okay, you accept this particular ashrama, whether it is brahmachari, whether it is grihastha, whether it is vanaprastha, or whether it is sannyasi. So that goes in a progressive way. But in varnas, it doesn't go in progressive way. You basically fit into something where you are meant to be, which is the best as per your aptitude. And that's how actually, and so therefore for Varnashrama Dharma, so the books, the itihasas that we see, Ramayana and Mahabharata, are basically trying to establish that Varnashrama Dharma, which is primarily based on the 4 Purusharthas, which is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So you follow Dharma, follow the regulative principles, Artha, and with your you will get the resources by following the regulative principles. You will get the resources by which you will be able to fulfill your desires, kama. And once we are continuously in this cycle of dharma artha kama, dharma artha kama, dharma artha kama, there will be a time we realize that even by regulated way, I am fulfilling my desires. But is that it? Even by fulfilling the desires, what am I achieving? I am achieving actually heavenly planets, right? Because you have followed Vedic injunctions, you are rewarded. And what is your reward? The reward is, okay, you don't need to suffer in the earthly planets. You can go to heavenly planets, which is filled with enjoyment. But what is happening after you have swiped your credit card for all the credits in the heavenly planets? It's not like a permanent residence we are getting. It's a temporary residence until whatever pious credits we have accumulated get all exhausted. And with the exhaustion of all these, then we again fall back into the earthly planet. And then again, from the earthly planet, we again do some karma. With the karma, it could be good karma, it could be bad karma. If the balance of our impious karma is more, again we go down to the lower planets. Sometimes if we conduct heinous crimes, we also go to hellish planets, right? So like this, we keep revolving between these. Brahma, Bhuvana, Loka, Punaravartino, Arjuna. Everything is given in Bhagavad Gita. Like what if you do what will happen? And we are going into the cycle of birth and death into these different planetary systems. What are those planetary systems? Then when we see in the Golaka chart, right? So these are the different planetary systems. Narakaloka, 28 hellish, 28 hells. There is, so between Brahma, Bhuvana Loka, from the Satya Loka to the Patala, we keep rotating, revolving everywhere, right? And this is the material universe. But what is happening? We are still within the material universe. If we are within the material universe, it is bound by time and space, right? So place is defined based on our desires, based on our karmas, karmic reactions, based on all the anarthas that we have accumulated with each action. The only byproduct is anartha. Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya. These are the only byproducts for any desire. We achieve the desire, and first of all, having a deep attachment to any desire, then it transforms into lust, which is actually Kama. We achieve the desire, we become greedy for more, which is Lobha. We don't achieve the desire, we get Krodha. We achieve the desire, we get pride. We don't achieve the desire, somebody else achieve the desire, then it is envy. So Mada, Matsarya, right? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. And when we are in that Mada and Matsarya, we get into illusion, and with all these anarthas, when we know that for each desire, the byproduct is only anartha. Okay. Can we do any good activity with only anarthas? Is there any possibility of doing any good activity with anarthas? Obviously, no. With every anartha, we will tend to do some activities which will hurt others, which will create trouble for others and ourselves. So that is the reason why we are in this cycle of suffering. So whatever you do within this material universe, we are in this shell only to suffer because of our actions in this janama and also in past millions of lifetimes. Now what happens? The time when the soul realizes that, because Athato Brahma Jigyasa, Lord has given us intelligence, and with that intelligence, and especially if we take the assistance of sadhu, shastra, and sangha, there is a time when one realizes that this is not the purpose of life. We are not, this is just some excursion that we were supposed to come. We were not meant to be here in the first place. This is not our home. This is a place away from home. That's the reason why we are suffering, because at home we are at leisure. We are very relaxed. We are meant to be happy at home. Only when we go out of the house and dar ki ठोकरें जब खाएंगे, that is when we actually suffer. And that's what we are doing. This is not our home. That's why we are suffering. And once we are suffering, then we realize this is not our place. And that is then one actually starts working towards obtaining that jnana, that knowledge, right? One goes towards jnana. Now, all this in the yoga ladder also we will see karma kanda. There is karma kanda, which is sakarma, is when we have desires and when we are actually going to the different devatas, because Vedic injunctions gives us path to achieve our fulfillment of desires, because for everything that we need for our survival, we actually, there is a devata who is responsible for that. We breathe air, there is a devata for the air. There is devata for the sound. There is devata for each organ of our body. There is devata for water. Every element, every tiny piece of thing that we need in this material universe for survival, there is a devata who's responsible for that. Seeing, hearing, everything. Even your hands, legs, every cell to perform in the body, there are devatas who are responsible for that. But what are we doing? Based on the limited knowledge that we have, we are worshipping the devatas whom we know or who are public favorites. Yes or no? We are not offering sacrifices to every devata who is responsible for our survival. And if we have taken this route of sakarma, we are ideally supposed to offer sacrifices for everybody. But we are not doing that. So there are some departments which are getting more attention of ours. Some departments are getting neglected. Obviously, the departments which are neglected and we have not performed the sacrifice automatically means that that department is going to get the suffering, right? So that is the reason why we suffer in certain. So how do we please all the devatas in that case? How is it even possible? I don't even know which devata is responsible for what. What do I do in that case? So for that also, Lord has given us the solution, which comes in this purport, right? But that is when we, so sakarma is when we are following the injunctions, but we are actually approaching devatas. But if we by chance get association of devotees at some time, or we get some spiritual credit, some sukriti from the past by eating prasadam or by reciting Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the Rath Yatra, or some transcendental activity, by chance we got some Sukruti. In that case, there is a possibility of going towards Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga means linking with the Supreme Lord. I have desires, but I go to Krishna for my fulfillment of desires. I'm still asking him, I want this desire. I want to pass my 10th with the best results. I want to pass with, oh Krishna, please help me. This is material desire, but we are going to Krishna. Then what happens? Krishna will give it anyways, right? But he will give. Krishna's speciality is, Devata's speciality is that you are doing a transaction with them. Okay. So if you're doing it, if you're doing exactly following the Vedic injunctions, exact paraphernalia, exact purity, exact pronunciation, all this matters. If you're doing it exactly as per the Vedic injunctions, the Devata has to give the result. Whether it is good for us or bad for us does not matter. The speciality of Krishna is, if we go to him with a desire, if it is good for us, he will fulfill it. If it's not good for us, he will not fulfill. And when it is not fulfilled, we have to understand automatically, oh, it is not good for us. That's why Krishna is not giving to us. And he will give to us indirectly. He will also give us bhakti and more association of the Supreme Lord, more association of the devotees. So he will always do good for us, no matter what. But here the transaction is complete. I have given something, and in return, I get what I desired for, and what I desired for may not be the best for me. But Devatas have to give because you have completed your side of the transaction. So like that, that is Sakarma. But Karma Yoga is when you approach Krishna. The same way, then once we have understood, we go towards knowledge. And when knowledge, I am trying with my own senses, my own speculation, my own experimental, experiential knowledge. I will say, I don't believe anything. I will find out by myself. I will believe what I see only. Then that is called Jnana Kanda. But if you are going towards Krishna, the scriptures given by Krishna, association of pure devotees who are devoted to Krishna, then it is Jnana Yoga. You are albeit going for knowledge, right? As of now, your intention is not to establish a relationship with Krishna and perform bhakti, loving devotional service to Krishna. That may not be our intention. But we are going towards Krishna because I want to know the knowledge. I want to know the truth. Who am I? What is the purpose of my life? Right? I am still in nursery, LKG, UKG. I have still not come to the 12th board. Right? But that is also good because we have come to Krishna for that. Krishna will give us what we desire. And there, the destination would be actually moksha. In the Sakarma, the destination is always moving between these planets, especially heavenly planets is the destination. But when it comes to Karma Yoga's next destination is Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga destination is actually desiring for liberation. I don't want this material universe anymore. I have understood. I got the knowledge. I have understood that this is not my place at all. Right? This is not where I belong. I want to get out of this place. I want liberation, moksha. So dharma, artha, kama. Rotate many times, then you go towards moksha. That is where actually most of the scriptures are meant to lead us. If we want to get here, moksha means actually getting out of this material universe into the spiritual sky. But into the spiritual sky also, nature of soul is to do what? Nature of soul is to do some activity. And what that activity is, the nature of the soul is to love. That is the nature of the soul. Like nature of the water is to quench the thirst. Nature of food is to satisfy our hunger. Same way, nature of the soul is to love. And who is the object of love? In the spiritual sky, there is only one object of love. In the material universe, we don't know. That's the reason why we find so many objects of love. But in the spiritual sky, there is only one object of love, and that is Krishna. And if we do not know that object of love is Krishna, but we reach the spiritual sky, what will happen? And if one loves another, just thinking of, yes, I love you, that does not solve anything, right? The other person does not get to know. How will the other person get to know is only when we express that love in the form of some action. You offer a rose, you offer a greeting card, you take the other person out for lunch or dinner, give the gifts, right? Say it with your mouth. Then only the other person will know. If you think in your mind and don't even come in front of the other person, obviously love cannot be expressed. The other person does not even get to know. So in the spiritual sky also, when we are not actually expressing anything, all we are doing is meditating, sitting and meditating. We are just a spark in the spiritual sky, spark of light, no activity, nothing. Obviously, when the nature of the soul is to love and we are doing an activity different from the nature, automatically we don't get satisfaction there. We again fall back down into the material universe. But there, if we are able to, in the material universe, through the Sadhu Shastra Sangha, association is so key there, especially of the pure devotees, Maharajas, who are coming so mercifully to our own location and telling, I am coming at your doorstep, please come and see me. And we are still thinking, oh, should I go? I will see it on Zoom. I will see it on YouTube. Then that is not association. There is no purification in that association. By hearing their message, there might be some purification, but you will yourself notice when you are hearing the same message in person, what you feel, and when you see it on YouTube, what you feel, it is like 1,000 times or million times smaller. Impact is smaller. There's no impact, rather, I would say. Very little impact. Of course, there will be impact because it's a transcendental message. So the point here, what I'm saying is dharma, artha, kama, moksha is where all the most of the scriptures end, but the bhakti scriptures, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrit, and so on and so forth, what they help us is to help us understand, yes, bhakti is your nature. Bhakti means love. Love means bhakti. Bhakti is loving devotional service. Your expression of love is only bhakti. So then, these bhakti literatures are telling us how to express that love to the Supreme Lord. What happens to those people who have expressed love to the Supreme Lord? What is their destination? Either they go to Vaikuntha, either they go to Goloka Vrindavan, right? These are the destinations. Where in Vaikuntha, they are in awe and reverence of the Lord. Wow, Lord is so great. He's so magnanimous. And he is so Aishwarya, Purna, right? He's so opulent. You're seeing, you're in awe and reverence. As of now, you have still not developed that intention that I want to, that thought has already not come. I'm just in awe struck. So then that is Vaikuntha Loka, Shantarasa. That is where I lead. But then there is Goloka Vrindavan, where we are engaging in all rasas, even Shantarasa there. Like the flute, like the trees, like the stones, like the pebbles. Dasya rasa, Sakhya rasa, Vatsalya rasa, Madhurya rasa. That is where our destinations become Goloka Vrindavan, when we want to engage, where we want to express our love in these different ways to the Supreme Lord. That's what happens. So most of the Itihasas, Purana, Ramayana, Mahabharata, all the Vedic scriptures, most of the Puranas also, other than the Puranas in the Vishnu Puranas, right? So what they do is that they lead us till here, till the spiritual sky. Unless we identify our sambandha, our relationship with the Lord, our abhideya, what is the process of expressing our love to the Lord, and then understanding the goal of life is actually achieving that love of Godhead, Krishna Prema. Until then, we will not be able to proceed further into the respective planet. Where means planet is what? That is the abode of the Lord. And when you reach that abode of the Lord, then we can perform that service, right? So that is what it is. Now, when we are coming back to here, based on this, it is my tendency to get diverted always to the Goloka chart and give you how it is practically, I mean, how do we basically think, what exactly does it mean for us? Then what happens is that whatever we are reading, it will start making sense to us. I repeat always because there could be somebody who is new and I have not told this or did not get an opportunity to speak about this. So therefore, I keep repeating this. But repeating is also good because it's a good revision. It will keep reminding us of our position. So now what has happened here? Shukdev Goswami is talking about Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramchandra, accepted an Acharya and performed sacrifices. Accepted an Acharya because it is Yad Yad Acharati Shreshthas. And the Acharat Yad Yad Shreshthas means the most perfect people. What they have to do? They have to lay the foundation. Their actions is what everybody will start replicating. You have a idol, like Sachin Tendulkar is the idol, like suppose in the cricketing field, then one who wants to become a cricketer will start understanding, acha, what does Sachin Tendulkar like? What is his diet like? What are his practices? What does he do? When does he practice? How many hours does he give? Same way, whatever the Shreshthas will start doing their actions, everything is actually a source of inspiration for the normal people. Therefore, Lord Ramachandra came to show us all those great activities. He's Maryada Purushottam. He has to abide by those activities so that everybody can follow. So I'll quickly read through it. Now it becomes easy to understand, right? And with opulent paraphernalia, does he himself worship? Why is it saying himself worshipped himself? Does a human worship himself? No. But here in this context, we already know Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra. But to show the example that he has to set for the normal people who yet do not know that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they think that he is the king, right? And what the king is doing, they want to replicate. But here in this case, king is actually worshipping Vishnu. And therefore, he is showing that he is worshipping himself because he is performing yajna. The yuga dharma of that yuga, Treta Yuga, is actually yajna. So he is performing sacrifices, right? So he is the supreme lord of all. So he in this case, he is performing sacrifices for the pleasure of Yajna Purusha, who is the supreme lord of all the demigods. Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu. What happens at the end of Yajna is Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu. All the sacrifices are meant for the pleasure of Yajneshwara. Right? So that is the supreme lord. So he is performing that. Yeah. So here, purport. Sarvarhanam Achyuteja. If Achyuta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is worshipped, then everyone is worshipped. So everyone is what? All the devatas are worshipped. We don't need to, like I was mentioning earlier, that if we are performing to some and we are neglecting some departments, what is happening? That those departments will suffer in our life, right? What is the solution? That none of the departments suffer. Then we actually offer this to the super boss, right? Who's the boss of all the devatas. To the super boss, if we please the super boss, automatically they will listen to the instructions given by the super boss, right? All the devatas will listen. So when we are pleasing the super boss, automatically all the departments will get satisfied, satiated. We don't need to do that extra curricular activities of doing one puja, one ritual for each devata, finding out which devata is what, trying to address one devata and then another devata is suffering again, running to this devata. We don't need to do all that. Just water the root. You feed the stomach, all the organs, all the hands, legs, brain, everything will start functioning well. What you need to do? We have to feed the stomach. So that is what Bhagavatam actually teaches us, right? What it is saying, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 4.31.14, Yatha tarurmula nishechanena trupyanti tatskandha bhujopashakha प्राणोपहाराच यथेन्द्रियाणां तथैव सर्वार्हणमच्युतेजा. What is it saying? As pouring water on the root of a tree nourishes the trunk, branches, twigs and leaves, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and limbs of the body, worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead satisfies the demigods who are part of that Supreme Personality. Performing yajna involves worshipping the Supreme Lord. Here the Supreme Lord worshipped the Supreme Lord. Therefore it is said, Bhagavan Atman Atmanam Ije. The Lord worshipped himself by himself. Now here is one context. The speciality of Prabhupada is that if there is any opportunity or any situation which can create ambiguity in our minds, and we start thinking otherwise, we have not understood the thing in entirety, he will try to remove those wrong thoughts or those misconceptions or misunderstandings immediately in the same purport. He is a futuristic acharya. He can foresee what all can we think, how our crooked minds can actually think something so normal and evident. Also, we have a tendency to misinterpret using our cricket minds. That is our speciality. So what is this merciful Acharya of ours, Srila Prabhupada, what does he do? Immediately, he will clarify. This does not, of course, justify the Mayavad philosophy by which one thinks himself the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is Mayavad? I am God, you are God, we are God, merge into God. That is their desire. But ultimately, they can't even achieve that merging into God because they are not accepting the personal form of the Lord himself. The impersonalist, I heard in a Bhagavatam lecture by Balram Shakti Prabhu, what he says is that and when I understood this and I started reading the purports, it was like my mind was fogged and now all that fog is actually removed. The impersonalist does not think Lord is not a person. The impersonalist knows that Lord is a person, but has not established a loving relationship with the Lord. That's what I was mentioning. From the material universe, once we know that yes, Lord is there and I'm worshipping, I'm meditating on the Lord, but still I have not created a desire to establish a loving relationship with the Lord. I'm not yet having the desire to serve the Lord in any capacity. And this can happen. He gave an example where a son can stay in the same house as a father, knows that there is a father exists, this is how he looks, this is him, he is the person, but may not, until the last day of his life, may not have the desire that every day I will offer loving service to my father. That may not. So now we can easily connect to this concept that this is what impersonalism is. Impersonalism does not mean the person thinks Lord is not a person. Impersonalism means that I have not developed the desire to offer a loving relationship to that Supreme Person. Only then, only when we accept that Supreme Lord is a person and I have some tinge of bhakti. Even meditating on the Lord is Vishnu Smaranam, right? Meditating on the Lord is also a devotional practice. It is bhakti. Therefore, only then can we actually step into the spiritual sky. Without that, we can't even go into the spiritual sky. So the Mayavadis who are thinking Lord is not a person, the Mayavadis who is thinking I am also God, you are also God, and I will merge into God, that is only their desire. That is not their destination. They do not go there. They are circulating within this material universe and most probably in the hellish planets when they think that way, right? So that is what is clarified in that Srimad Bhagavatam lecture. So I thought I will share with you because I also got to know about this impersonalism only this year after completing some 7 years. So how foolish I am, like how, I feel very shameful that so many things I don't know. So here the Supreme Lord worship the Supreme Lord. Therefore, yes, this is what we hear. The Jiva, the living entity, is always different from the Supreme Lord. The living entities, Vibhinnamsha, never become one with the Lord. Although Mayavadi sometimes imitate the Lord's worship of himself. Lord Krishna meditated upon himself every morning as a Grihastha. So this is what I was saying in that Balakanda, actually, this was shown every day morning. He was doing his Nitya Karma as a Grihastha. And similarly, Lord Ramachandra performed Yajnas to satisfy himself. Now, here himself is not as a human, but actually himself as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. But this does not mean that an ordinary living being should imitate the Lord by accepting the process of Ahangrahopasana. Such unauthorized worship is not recommended herein. So that's what Treta Yuga, Yuga Dharma is performing yajnas, and Ramayana is BG in action, Bhagavad Gita in action. So Bhagavad Gita is saying something, somebody is demonstrating it practically. So it's easier to connect with the practical demonstration. Oh, I understood the concept now properly. So that's what Ramayana is. Okay, we go to text 2. I'll try to wind up within time, but may take some 10-15 minutes extra if I go deep into the explanations. So yeah, text 2. Hotre tatadisham prachim brahmane dakshinam prabhu atvaryave praticim va uttaram samagaya saha. Translation. Anybody wants to read the translation?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I read?
Yes, Prabhu. Sure.
Lord Ramachandra gave the entire east to the Hota priest, the entire south to the Brahman priest, the west to the Advaryu priest, and the north to the Udgata priest, the reciter of Samaveda. In this way, he donated his kingdom.
So Lord actually donated his kingdom, and to whom? To Brahmanas, different types of Brahmanas, right? Which I do not know like what exactly these Brahmanas. I couldn't get a chance to hear lectures on this because of the shortage of time. But they are different types of Brahmanas who are engaged in different types of activities. So what is here? The central concept we need to remember is Lord, who is a Kshatriya king, is actually donating all his kingdom to the Brahmanas. But do Brahmanas desire anything like this? Do they want the kingdom? We'll see further. Acharyaya dadau shesham yavati bhustadantara manyamana idam kritsnam brahmanorhati nishpruha. Translation, anybody?
Can I read Mataji? Hare Krishna. Thereafter, thinking that because the Brahmanas have no material desires, they should possess the entire world, Lord Ramachandra delivered the land between the east, west, north, and south to the Acharya. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thinking that because the Brahmanas have no material, they should possess the entire world, Lord Ramachandra delivered the land between this. Ityayam tad alankara vasobhyam avasheshitah tatha rajnapi vaidehi saumangalyavasheshita. Anybody wants to read? Hare Krishna. After thus giving everything in charity to the Brahmanas, Lord Ramachandra retained only his personal garments and ornaments, and similarly the Queen Mother Sita was left with only her nose ring and nothing else. So this is after they return back, get the kingdom, and then again he's donated the kingdom which he got after 14 years. So we call him a materially greedy person, or whether like one who has nishkama, no desire, no material desire. So from karmi, somebody goes to karma, sakarma. From sakarma, somebody goes to karma yoga. So he is demonstrating us nishkama karma yoga. So karma yoga is also where somebody is having desires, but is approaching the Supreme Lord. Nishkama karma yoga is bhakti, where I am performing my activities but offering all the results to the Supreme Lord. I don't have any material desires. I don't need the fruits of any of my actions. Whatever I do, I am going to offer it as sacrifice to the Supreme Lord. That is actually Nishkama Karma Yoga. That is the seed, the starting stage of where bhakti starts. So bhakti happens from Nishkama Karma Yoga, not at Karma Yoga also, but bhakti is like, what is bhakti? What is love? Love is when you do everything for the pleasure of the Lord, not for the pleasure of the self. So Karma Yoga is also pleasure of the self, but approaching the Supreme Lord. Nishkama Karma Yoga is no pleasure of self, only pleasure of the Lord, and all my activities are dedicated to the Lord. That is Nishkama Karma Yoga. So that is what Lord is actually demonstrating. Text 5. Te tu brahmana devasya vatsalyam vikshya samstutam प्रीता क्लिन्नधियस्तस्मै प्रत्यर्प्येद्यं प्रियेदं बभाषिरे pratyarpyedam babhashire. Translation. So all the Brahmanas who were engaged in the various activities of the sacrifice were very pleased with Lord Ramachandra, who was greatly affectionate and favorable to the Brahmanas. Thus, with melted hearts, they returned all the property received from him and spoke as follows. See what has happened? In the sacrifice, he is given everything to the Brahmanas. Brahmanas were pleased. They were very affectionate, and Lord was also very affectionate and favorable to them. So after being pleased, what they have done? They have returned everything because they don't need it. So they have returned everything to the Lord. So what is this? When we are putting prasadam also, that's a sacrifice, right? We have created the prasadam for us to eat, but we are sacrificing that intention. We are putting it for the pleasure of the Lord, prasadam. Lord is glancing on it and actually consuming it through his glance itself. If he can glance and create the material creation itself, here it is the glance, right? The creation, the whole creation has happened because Lord has glanced on the creation. This is Lord's glance. Lord's glance is also a person. In transcendental world, everything is personified. Lord's glance is Shambhu. And the material, all the combination of these elements, all the elements are there in the Mahat Tattva, in the unmanifested form. They have still not combined. They have done nothing. Lord has created the elements, put it together in the Mahat Tattva. Right? In fact, that is called Pradhana, when it is in unmixed state. In the unmixed form, in still not combined form, it's still not combined. So Lord actually glances on the Pradhana, right? And then it starts churning. All the elements starts churning. And then the Mahat Tattva is created, which is the big state, which has all the ingredients, right? And that is basically, this Pradhana is nothing but the material energy is Durga, Parvati. Shambhu is the glance. And that's why the combination gives rise to the material universe. Therefore, they are called father and mother of the material universe. So in the material universe, who is the topmost is the father and mother. So there is nothing wrong if somebody is saying that yes, the topmost is Shiva, because they have known through all the scriptures, they know only about the material universe. They don't know what's happening in the spiritual sky, which is 3/4 of the creation. They don't know. That is the reason why they're saying. So is their knowledge wrong? It's not wrong. It's just incomplete. It needs to complete. When they come to Athato Brahma Jigyasa, they will only explore by themselves. They will refer to the different Vishnu Puranas, and slowly and steadily they will progress there. And by touch, by contact of any pure devotees, and that's why we need to do Nagar Sankirtan, just by hearing Hare Krishna Mahamantra. By sitting in their houses, not even participating, if they get to hear Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is a spiritual Sukruti. They will hear it. That will lead to what? More spiritual Sukruti. Like that, if enough credits get accumulated, one fine in after some lakhs or millions of lifetimes, by accumulating all these spiritual Sukrutis, we get the Sukruti of getting into association of a pure devotee. So today, if we have this association, we have spent so many millions of lifetimes sitting in our closed shells, whether as bacteria, as insects, whether as trees, whether as dogs, whether as pigs, everything we have spent in all 80 lakh species, we have spent all our lifetimes. And we have somehow got an opportunity to hear the Harinam. Somebody was merciful and singing Nagar Sankirtan, and somebody gave us prasadam. By chance, we were fasting. Maybe we were some poor person who didn't have any food. And that way, we have done fasting on a Ekadashi. And we got the spiritual sukriti of that unknowingly also. So, unknowingly getting these actually create the spiritual sukritis. And once those sukritis are enough, minimum threshold, your minimum marks to pass in the 10th board, let's say is 35 marks. You have crossed that 35 marks. And then finally you get we don't get bhakti, we get association of pure devotees. And when we take that association seriously, and then we, by ourselves, with our own free will, we decide, yes, I want to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I also want to practice what they are practicing. That is when bhakti begins. So bhakti has so much behind. So if we have come here, we are hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. Imagine what all we have done in the past life. So we have to take it very, very seriously. It's not an ordinary thing. It's not to be taken lightly. And that's why, despite having so many people, we'll have very few people in the call because it is that rare. It's not easy to get that taste in hearing, that taste in chanting, the taste for anything, that time. And if we have the taste, we may not get the time. Mercy, mercy, mercy is required. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Purport. In the previous chapter, it was said that the prajas, the citizens, strictly followed the system of Varnashrama Dharma. The Brahmanas acted exactly like Brahmanas, Kshatriyas exactly like Kshatriyas, and so on. Therefore, when Lord Ramachandra gave everything in charity to the Brahmanas being qualified, wisely considered that Brahmanas are not meant to possess property to make a profit from it. That's why they returned it. The qualification of a Brahmana are given in Bhagavad Gita 18.42. शमोदमस्तपः शौचं क्षान्तिरार्जवमेव च ज्ञानं विज्ञानमास्तिक्यं ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजम्. So this is, again, the law book has given what is the qualities of Brahmanas. We have Shamo, Damas, Tapas, Shaucham, Kshantir, Arjavam, Evacha. No, don't ask me. I don't know the translation. Right? But here, so, and yes, peacefulness. Yeah, it is only giving us peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, religiousness. These are the qualities of the Brahmanas, and by which the Brahmanas work. The Brahmanical character offers no scope for possessing land and ruling citizens. That doesn't come under this. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity. Austerity means that that tapasya, that vairagya is already there. They don't need anything. Purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge. The Brahmanical character offers no scope for possessing land and ruling citizens. These are the duties of a Kshatriya. Therefore, although the Brahmanas did not refuse Lord Ramachandra's gift, after accepting it, they returned it to the king. The Brahmanas were so pleased with Lord Ramachandra's affection towards them that their hearts melted. They saw that Lord Ramachandra, aside from being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was fully qualified as a Kshatriya and was exemplary in character. One of the qualifications of a Kshatriya is to be charitable. A Kshatriya or ruler levies taxes upon the citizens not for his personal sense gratification. This also we need to remember. Whatever Kshatriya is doing, as per Varnashrama Dharma, none of the activities are for self. It's always to help the others, and together all our departments are satisfied. Then if the departments are satisfied, what we are supposed to do? Atato Brahma Jigyasa, get the knowledge from Brahmana about the Supreme Lord. That is the purpose of this society originally created in Varnashrama Dharma. Everybody, a Brahmana is assisted by a Vaishya to provide the food, cow protection, right? Vaishya's duty is cow protection and agriculture. Kshatriya's duty is protection and administrative. Defend the entire society from external invasion, from somebody to come and spoil their consciousness That protection, that defense is actually for that. Nobody should come and spoil our consciousness. I will protect my praja that way. Shudra's duty is to assist everybody because they are very strong with their hands and legs, and their seva mode is very high. So they will do the seva for all the other sections of the society. So everybody can together actually fulfill all their basic activities have to be completed. All the activities have to be completed so that if all this is happening, quickly let us finish our duties for the day. Why quickly? So that rest of the whole day I can dedicate to the to acquiring the knowledge about the Lord and performing those activities, our swadharma, our dharma, our activities as mentioned in the Vedas, so that I can reach the Supreme Lord. So that was the purpose of the society. And this is what one of the qualifications of Kshatriya is to be charitable. A Kshatriya or ruler levies taxes upon the citizens not for his personal sense gratification but to give charity in suitable cases. So when does he give charity? First he is collecting all that. Some drought has come. Somebody has some emergency. They don't have food at home. Charity, give them. Somebody will come. Raja, I don't have this. I don't have that. Okay, take. Like that. That is very charitable. Kshatriya, then Dhanam, Ishwara, Bhava. On one hand, Kshatriya have the propensity to rule, but on the other, they are very liberal with charity. When Maharaja Yudhishthir gave charity, he engaged Karna to take charge of distributing it. Karna was very famous as Data Karna. The word Data refers to one who gives charity very liberally. The kings always kept a large quantity of food grains in stock, and whenever there was any scarcity of grains, they would distribute grains in charity. A Kshatriya's duty is to give charity, and a Brahmana's duty is to accept charity, but not more than needed to maintain body and soul together. Therefore, when the Brahmanas were given so much land by Lord Ramachandra, they returned it to him and were not greedy. Right? So this is actually the purpose of the charity. Now, this similar kind of episode we had also seen in the past. Can anybody tell me when was this? When a king actually performed all the sacrifices, offered the entire kingdom to Brahmanas, and Brahmanas gave it back. So, can anybody tell me when else did we hear this? Okay, it was Prithu Maharaj who had done this, and we had read about it in the 4th canto. Prithu Maharaj actually pleased all the Brahmanas that way. So, and even if we talk about, so Prithu Maharaj is also actually Shaktyavesh avatar, right? So, if we are talking about, I will just show the different types of avatars. So there are different types of avatars. If we actually see here, this Golaka chat is all in all. We get all the information. There are so many. When Lord has sitting in the Golaka Vrindavan, Krishna is always busy performing his loving relationship pastimes with all the types of devotees. So whenever the need be for paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam dharma samsthapanartha, he does not step out of his abode. He expands. He expands into different forms. And like different there are expansions. So first he will expand into the Chaturvyuha. Then there is a secondary Chaturvyuha. Chaturvyuha is basically what is Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. So again he will expand into Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And basically all the expansions come from the Sankarshna of the second Chaturvyuha. And automatically, so whenever creation has to happen, the important expansions are Karnodakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, and Garbhodakshay Vishnu, right? So from the Kshirodakshay Vishnu, so from Karnodakshay Vishnu expands into Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So this is Karnodakshay Vishnu, expands into Garbhodakshay Vishnu, from whose navel Brahma comes. He does the Visarga, creates all these planetary systems and the bodies that we need to occupy based on our desires and karmic reactions. We need some bodies. We need a place to stay. And that is what is created by Brahma. Right? But whenever Lord has to take an incarnation, he has to take a route. So he has to come in the Vishnu form only. So because Krishna does not step out. He will only step out once in a day of Brahma, which is 28th. He will come in the 28th Chaturyuga. Out of 1,000 Chaturyugas in a day of Brahma, 28th Chaturyuga mein Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. He will descend onto the Bhauma Vrindavan along with his paraphernalia, along with his entire entourage of all the Nityasiddha, all the devotees who are serving him in Goloka Vrindavan. He descends with them. But at the rest of the times when he has to annihilate and he has to elevate, annihilate, and he has to do the what is that Dharma Samsthapanartha, he takes the route of Kshirodakshay Vishnu, appears through the Kshirodakshay Vishnu, and then the different forms of Vishnu will actually come, like Narsimha, Sankarshna. So they are also like not that, okay, they're not like getting born at that time. They are always there in the Vaikuntha planets. The Vaikuntha planets, those Vishnu forms are eternally present. And these pastimes are happening in millions of material universe simultaneously, parallelly, one after another also. So they expand, they come via this route, through the Kshirodakshay Vishnu, and then they appear when they have to do any activity, right? So I was talking about Shaktiavesh avatar. So there are different types of avatars itself, which is given in our Shastras. So there are, all we know always is only Leela avatars, like whatever we have heard, the 10 Dashavatars actually come under the Leela avatars. But other than the Dashavatar also, there are so many more avatars, which we do not know in the Leela avatara itself. Right? Even like Maharaja Prithu is actually a Shaktyavesh avatar. Shaktyavesh means a jiva who has been empowered by some power of the Lord for performing one particular kind of activity. Like Vyasdev is Shaktyavesh avatar, literary incarnation. His purpose was to delineate the entire Vedic literatures, divide them into the 4 Vedas, then write the Puranas, then finally deliver us with Srimad Bhagavatam, right? That is the purpose of Vyasdev. Like that, there is one king, Maharaja Prithu, who came in the 4th canto. And his purpose was to establish Dharma as the king within the society, teach them what exactly to practice, how to practice the devotional service. So we see here is Maharaja Prithu, who is the Shaktyavesh avatar, right? So now what happened when Maharaja Prithu came? Okay, what was he actually teaching us? So in he actually taught us Nishkama Karma. So in the 4th canto, when Prithu Maharaj does a similar activity, so his instructions to his citizens was on how to perform sacrifices and how we can offer everything to the Brahmanas. So he offers his entire kingdom to the Brahmanas, and he is a Shaktyavesh avatar who is demonstrating Bhakti Mishra Karma, which means karma you are doing, but with a mixture of bhakti in that, so dedicating to the Supreme Lord. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, we see a similar demonstration like that. So, what are we seeing? After completing his sacrificial performances, Maharaja Prithu offers everything that he possessed, including his kingdom, to the Brahmanas as Dakshina, and which was in accordance with the Vedic injunctions. The Brahmanas, what they do, they will return all the wealth and the kingdom back to Maharaja Prithu. So the kingdom had already been completely purified by his devotional rule. So he was already ruling all the devotees in the mood of devotion, teaching them how exactly to practice the devotional service, how to perform their sacrifices. But a king like Prithu, who governs strictly according to Dharma and for pleasure of the Supreme Lord, in person, he does not need any additional ritual purification actually, because he is the Supreme Lord himself. But what is this? He is doing yad yad acharati shreshthas. So Srila Prabhupada has highlighted that this particular episode of Prithu Maharaj demonstrates that a Krishna conscious ruler, he automatically sanctifies the his kingdom simply by his character and governance. So any Krishna conscious ruler is the same. So Brahmanas are not meant to accumulate wealth, and their acceptance and return of the kingdom signifies that the real purpose of charity is purification, not the transfer of ownership. So Agraharam is for you, this village is for you, this village is for you, not for the Brahmana to keep it and enjoy that all the lands and sell the lands later and make money. That was not the purpose. Accept, and then again they would return, because that is an act of purity. But how is this an act of purity, we may ask? So we have to understand that Maharaja Prithu, he was not like doing this just for symbolism, just to show. It's not a show. He actually literally offers his entire kingdom. But what is the principle there is that nothing is owned by the devotee. That's what Maharaja Prithu is demonstrating, that nothing is owned by me, everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. But how is the purpose of charity purification but not transfer of wealth? Because Dakshina is meant to purify the giver. That is the purpose. Why somebody does dana is for own purification, self-purification. But Prithu Maharaj was already purified by devotional service and righteous rule. So he had no need to retain any wealth. But ideal conduct of Brahmanas here is that Brahmanas are accepting the kingdom only to validate the Vedic injunctions, but not to enjoy material opulence. And by returning everything, what are they showing? They are showing that they are detached from the material possessions and they are satisfied with all their spiritual wealth, and that by giving them something, the ruler or the royal authority cannot bind them by anything. So they wanted to be free from the exploitation of royal authority all the time. But if you take something from somebody, there is a natural tendency, Are, he's given me so much, let me be dasos me. But they didn't want, at that time, Brahmanas would never wanted to be like that. And another important thing is that Srila Prabhupada also explicitly has commented many times that when a king rules as a pure devotee, the entire kingdom, it becomes righteous, which is dharmika, and shuddha, purified. And that pleases the Supreme Lord. There is no separate ritual purification which is required. So what is the supremacy of bhakti over this kind of rituals is that although Vedic rules prescribe offering everything to the at the end of the sacrifice, bhakti actually supersedes this kind of ritual obligation. So external rituals are secondary when it comes to the essence, which is service to Vishnu. If it is present within our hearts, these rituals and everything, they don't matter. Okay, I give and you give back. That is as per Vedic injunctions. Where is Krishna in that? So rather, if I put Krishna within my heart and act, that is Krishna consciousness. And this is a perfect system for social harmony. So that's why Varnashrama Dharma was basically for social harmony, like I explained before. So here the main takeaway is that very important thing that we need to remember is that Lord is represented by Lord is actually Go Brahmana Hitayacha, right? He is a protector of cows and protector of Brahmanas, right? So, and we also know that when we are feeding the Brahmanas, it is equivalent to feeding the Lord, because Lord's mouth is actually represented by Brahmanas. So if we are feeding the Brahmanas, the Lord is accepting through their mouth. So that is the reason why any sacrifice which is offered to the Brahmana is actually a sacrifice which is being offered to the Lord himself. So that is the most important thing. So if we are looking at this, I have taken something from the Subodhini, that it says material aspect of the sacrifice, Lord is transcendental, but for the benefit of the conditioned soul, he accepts different types of sacrifice. He doesn't need anything, he is Atma Rama. with many material qualities like rituals. So these are all material that we are offering. But can we offer anything material to the Supreme Lord? In general, anything material is contaminated. But when it is being offered to the spiritual Lord, automatically it is purified because it becomes transcendental. So rituals, mantras, ingredients, names, and purpose of the performers, everything is material, but it's being offered as sacrifice to the Supreme Lord. Sacrifice becomes devoid of material qualities by the act of offering it to the Lord, which gives it to a small component of bhakti. Now here, sacrifice is offered to the Lord. Offering karmas to the Lord gives one jnana mishra bhakti, by which one attains the Lord. However, the appearance of jnana and the resultant attainment of the Lord depends on the amount of bhakti and faith in offering those karmas. So citizens were saying, we have become successful by your instructions. We will worship the Lord. So that's how actually Prithu Maharaj had led the citizens. So all you citizens are worshipping the Lord, the enjoyer of sacrifice, and the Supreme Guru by executing your occupational duties, which is what? Varnashrama dharma, swadharma yogena. Thereby you are bestowing mercy upon me. Matlab, if the praja follow the Varnashrama dharma, the king gets also a part of the credit for that. Like how they perform sins, king will get a part of the sins. Same way, if they perform their duties righteously, then king also gets the benefit. So that's why the glories of Brahmana avoid offending them. Royal family should not exhibit its material prowess before Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, who are glorified by their characteristic powers of tolerance, penance, knowledge, and education. So it's not that for the show and for show of prosperity, King Prithu is doing that, offering that in dana. It's not because of that. It's for purification. Because when I am doing it, I am giving my charity, I am getting purified in the process. They retaining, they also get purified by worshipping that. And so actually Prithu Maharaj, therefore, in this 4.21, demonstrated very beautifully how to satisfy the Brahmanas, why they need to be satisfied, how to be that ideal king. Lord himself in Shaktyavesh avatar. See, Lord eats through their mouths. The Lord does not take as much pleasure in eating through the sacrificial fire, which is devoid of him. So when we are putting in the Yagna Kunda, Yagneshwara is also getting satisfied, right? But he gets more satisfied when the Brahmanas eat the prasadam. So that's what is being written here. He does in accepting offerings through the mouths of learned sages and devotees. When they are fed, he is more satisfied because it is feeding the Brahmana and thereby feeding actually nothing but the Supreme Lord. So that is what that's what is being told in the 4th canto in the King Prithu's this one. So text 6. Aprattam nastvaya kimnu Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara Yannontar Hridayam Vishya Tamohamsi Swarochisha. I'll quickly read through because of the time constraint. There are not many places where puppets are there, and puppets are also self-explanatory. There is only one more puppet where little bit of explanation is needed, which I'll try to cover quickly. Please bear with me. O Lord, you are the master of the entire universe. What have you not given to us? You have entered the core of our hearts and dissipated the darkness of our ignorance by your effulgence. This is the supreme gift. We do not need a material donation. Who is saying this to whom? Brahmanas are saying this to Lord Ramachandra. When Dhruv Maharaj was offered a benediction by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he replied, "O my Lord, I am fully satisfied. I do not need any material benediction." Similarly, when Prahlad Maharaj was offered a benediction by Lord Nrsimhadev, he also refused to accept it and instead declared that a devotee should not be like a vanik, a mercantile man. Mercantile man means basically transaction oriented, who gives something in exchange for some profit. One who becomes a devotee for some material profit is not a pure devotee. Brahmanas are always enlightened by the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the heart. Sarvasya chaham hriti sannivishto matta smritirjnanam apohanam cha. And because the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are always directed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are not greedy for material wealth. What is absolutely necessary, they possess, but they do not want an expanded kingdom. An example of this was given by Vamandev acting as Brahmachari. Lord Vamandev wanted only 3 pieces of land, aspiring to possess more and more for personal sense gratification is simply ignorance, and this ignorance is conspicuous by its absence from the heart of a Brahmana or Vaishnava. So that is what Prabhupada is actually explaining. That is not what Brahmanas aspire for. They don't aspire for the kingdom. They don't do the sacrifices for that aspiration. That is, it's an act of purification and in line with the Vedic injunctions. That's all. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Ramaya Kuntha Medhase Uttama Shloka Dhuryaya Nyasta Dandarpi Tangre Nyasta Dandarpi Tangre. Translation. O Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead who have accepted the Brahmanas as your worshipable deity. Your knowledge and memory are never disturbed by anxiety. You are the chief of all famous persons within the world, and your lotus feet are worshipped by sages who are beyond the jurisdiction of punishment. O Lord Ramachandra, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto you. And now, Brahmanas are actually offering obeisances, accepting Lord Ramachandra as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then, text 8. Now, here all is actually just the storyline. We'll complete that. Kadachilloka jigyasur gudho ratyam alakshita charanvacho shrunodramo bharyam uddishya kashyachit. Anybody wants to do translation? Okay, Shukdev Goswami continued. Once while Lord Ramachandra was walking in night incognito, hiding himself by a disguise to find out the people's opinion of himself, he heard a man speaking unfavorably about his wife Sita Devi. Text 9. Naham bibharmi tvam dushtam asatim paraveshmagam staino hi bibriyat Sitam Ramo naham bhaje punah. Translation. Speaking to his unchaste wife, the man said, who? The washerman. You go to another man's house, and therefore you are unchaste and polluted. I shall not maintain you any more. A henpecked husband like Lord Rama may accept a wife like Sita, who went to another man's house, but I am not henpecked like him, and therefore I shall not accept you again. That's what he said. Now, text 10. Iti lokad bahumukhad duraradhyad asamvidah patyabhitena satyakta prapta pracheta sashramam. Translation. Shukdev Goswami said, men with poor fund of knowledge and a heinous character speak nonsensically, fearing such rascals. Lord Ramachandra abandoned his wife Sita Devi, although she was pregnant. Thus Sita Devi went to the ashrama of Valmiki Muni. So here we have to understand there is always a lot of controversy when it comes to discussion about this particular topic. Why Lord Ram actually had to listen to a washerman and send away Sita. So, but the main reason why is actually this is contrast is between worldly morality and divine kingship, means Rajadharma. So what is in moral standards right and what is the Rajadharma? So Srila Prabhupada writes that Lord Ramachandra is the ideal king. Although he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he acted as an ideal human being to teach society how to strictly follow religious principles. So that was the purpose actually. And because of the criticism of ordinary people, Lord Ramachandra as an ideal king, he abandoned his wife, although she was pregnant. So this was done to set an example of how strict a king should be in following his duty, because whole purpose was his being that ideal character. The character he had to play was that of a Maryada Purushottam Ram, and of that ideal king. Rama Rajya is what Rama Rajya is known for. So the phrase men with poor fund of knowledge and a heinous character speak nonsensically is Prabhupada's consistent description of people unqualified to judge divine conduct, yet whose opinions still influence public order. So there are people like this, right? Even in today's world, we see they're not really qualified to judge the divine conduct of Lord Ram, Lord Krishna. But we అంటే నోరు ఉంది కదా అని పారేసుకుంటాం అంటారు తెలుగులో. లైక్ ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ అ మౌత్ యూ కెన్ యూజ్ ఇట్ విచ్ ఎవర్ వే యూ వాంట్. బట్ that is totally unqualified speech. We are not even qualified to understand their transcendental pastimes. The key principle here is that Rama acted not as a god but as Maryada Purushottam. And Srila Prabhupada has repeatedly emphasized this, that although Lord Ramachandra is Bhagavan, he never acted as God. He acted exactly like a human being. And he is strictly bound by the religious principle Dharma. Dharma acharati shreshthas. That was his purpose. And this is crucial. So Krishna establishes Bhagavat Swatantrya. Krishna's purpose was to show the divine independence, that I am not bound by anybody's opinion. But Rama establishes Maryada, the highest moral boundaries. So Rama's Leela is meant to teach society how to function when God is not visibly intervening. So Lord, when not visibly present and not intervening in our this one, like in Mahabharata, we see Lord has continuously intervened to help the devotees, right? In the whole of Kurukshetra war, that's what we have seen. At every stage, and at every stage where Pandavas were in trouble, Lord has intervened. With Draupadi's situation, Lord has intervened. But in Ramayana, that's not the case. Rama's purpose, his Leela was meant to teach the society how to function when God is not intervening, when you know that, okay, you can't see the God. And so therefore, many people are not elevated to that stage to feel that God is sitting within my heart, he is witnessing my actions, God is present in every atom as Brahman, he is sitting within my heart as Paramatma. That consciousness is not there in people. In that case, what they should do? So Lord Rama shows that. Follow Varnashrama Dharma, follow Vedic injunctions. And that was the purpose of Ramayana. So it will be drastically different from Mahabharata. Mahabharata will be drastically different from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a Purana in the mode of pure goodness. It is Amala Purana, Shuddha Sattva. So that is what it is. So why did he give weight to the words of rascals like that washerman? So a king's personal happiness or grief is insignificant before the welfare and faith of his citizens. That is the purpose. That's how every king should act. So he is also a role model for the other kings. He is role model for his people also. So if the head of the state is criticized, the whole social order is disturbed. Therefore, even though the criticism was false, Lord Ramachandra accepted it to preserve the social order. So that was the key point. So he accepted it as, so whatever this criticism was happening, he considered it as a socially disruptive thing, and immediately he had to address it. And if you want to immediately address it, you have to immediately take a drastic action like sending Sita Devi to the back to the forest again. So what is Lord Rama establishing through that? He is establishing that I am completely accountable for the leadership of the people. He is establishing accountability of the king. The king must be above suspicion, even if he is personally innocent. It does not matter. Sita Mata is not at fault, Rama is not at fault, but doesn't matter. He has to establish dharma. A ruler cannot claim private privilege, and ruler's character must be unquestionable. So not just purity is not enough. It should be unquestionable. And whenever there is a little sprouting of that sapling of that doubt, that suspicion, that infamy, immediately he curbed it. So Rajadharma supersedes personal dharma. As a husband, Rama never doubted Sita. As a king, he prioritized public faith in dharma. That was the main thing. Lord Ramachandra had no doubt about the purity of Sita Devi. So this was not injustice to Sita, but sacrifice of his own happiness. And also in Kali Yuga, we are seeing a degenerative society as such, where pure women are always doubted, fallen men are always given weightage of their voice. So Prabhupada has also said that this is the nature of Kali Yuga, where unqualified men criticize exalted personalities. But that's why it is toleration. Tolerance is the key. So Lord Rama also allowed society to see its own degradation. So he was not endorsing it. He was showing the society what happens when you degrade. Goddess of fortune has left. So was Sita abandoned or protected in this case? Sita was actually placed in Valmiki's ashrama, not rejected. She lived under full divine protection. And her sons Lava and Kusha were also educated as royal princes. So Sita Devi is the eternal concept of Lord. She cannot be ever separated from him, actually. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur also about Rama Tattva has spoken, saying that Rama establishes law, Krishna establishes love beyond law. And so Rama shows what society must do, but Krishna shows what God ultimately desires. So society collapses into without Rama's example, then society would totally collapse and everybody will cross their moral boundaries. That was the reason of this particular episode, and it's not to be speculated upon by our own this one. So yeah, we are almost towards the end. I'll just complete. I'm really sorry for extending it. Yeah, text 11. Antarvatnyagate kale yamau sasushuve sutau Kusholava iti khyatau tayoshchakre kriya munihi. Translation. When the time came, the pregnant mother Sita Devi gave birth to twin sons, later celebrated as Lava and Kusha. The ritualistic ceremonies for their birth were performed by Valmiki Muni. Angadashchitraketushcha Lakshmanasyaatmajau smritau Takshah Pushkala ityashtam Bharatasya Mahipate. O Maharaja Parikshit, Lord Lakshmana had two sons named Angada and Chitraketu, and Lord Bharata also had two sons named Taksha and Pushkala. Subahu Shrutasenascha Shatrugnasya Babhuvatu Gandharvan Kotisho Chakne Bharato Vijaye Disham Tadiyam Dhanamaniya Sarvam Rakenyvedayat Shatrugnascha Madho Putram Lavanam Nama Rakshasam Hatva Madhuvane Chakre Madhuram Nama Vaipurim. Translation. Shatrughna had two sons named Subahu and Shrutasena. When Lord Bharata went to conquer all directions, he had to kill many millions of Gandharvas who are generally pretenders. Taking all their wealth, he offered it to Lord Ramachandra. Shatrughna also killed a Rakshasa named Lavana, who was the son of Madhu Rakshasa. Thus he established in the great forest known as Madhuvana, the town name known as Mathura. So this is where Mathura has come. Text 15, the last one today. Munau nikshipya tanayau Sita bharta vivasita Dhyayanti Ramacharanau Vivaram Pravisheshaha. Being forsaken by her husband, Sita Devi entrusted her two sons to the care of Valmiki Muni. Then, meditating upon the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra, she entered into the earth. It was impossible for Sita Devi to live in separation from Lord Ramachandra. Therefore, after entrusting her two sons in the care of Valmiki Muni, she entered into earth. Okay, I'll conclude with 15 only. Deepa Mataji, I will not be able to take till 20. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I think 15 should be good.
Yeah, good, Mataji. Should be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So, any questions, clarifications? Deep gratitude to you all to stay until the end and tolerate my surpassing the time, and very grateful. All glories to Srila Prabhupada for the wonderful translations and purpose. Anybody has any questions? Otherwise,
Hari Bol, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Okay, then we'll wind up. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrind ki jai.
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Ki
jai.
Jai.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna
Dandavat
Mataji,
Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare Krishna
Pranam.
Mataji,
Thank you.
Dandavat Pranams Mataji.
Thank you,
Excellent class.
Mataji.
Super.
Thank you.
Dandavat.